yoga hour. This is an all levels class. You probably read in the description. So just know that you can modify the pose, any asana that we do today. And I'll try to go through some modifications, but just pay attention to your body and what you need and what works for you. So I'll start with a quote this morning. This is a quote from John Lennon, which I had printed and put on above my desk for a long time. I've always loved it. It's just tight. So a quote from John Lennon. When I was 5 years old, my mother told me that happiness was the key to life. When I went to school, they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I wrote down happy. And they told me I didn't understand the question. I told them they didn't understand life. Always loved that. So whatever the reason is that keeps you coming back to your mat, that keeps you returning to your mat. And there's a plethora of reasons, I believe. Going from a deep inner journey to external, just physical exercise, I suppose. There's a myriad of reasons that I continue to do yoga. It offers a lot. But hopefully overall it makes you feel good and makes you happy. I can say honestly that there hasn't been a time where I've stepped off my mat where I've said, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. I pretty much feel much better after I complete my practice. Granted, there's some times of frustration or undesired outcomes, but you take that for what it is and then move past it and don't hold on to it. So. But yoga always meets you where you are, wherever that may be, day to day. Yoga is a practice without judgment, and all we have to do is show up. And sometimes that's the hardest part in anything you choose to do. So note that you're all here and you've completed, in a sense, the first step, which is showing up. So acknowledge yourself for showing up. And we'll start. So find your comfortable seat. And then softly close your eyes down. You can also gaze at the floor just in front of you. And rest your hands wherever is comfortable. You place them on your knees, on your thighs, in your lap. Typically, palms down is more grounding, palms up is more receiving. If your palms are up, you bring your thumb and your first finger together. You close the energetic loop. And then lift your chest, lift your chin out of your chest. So you're rooting down through your sit bones, through the base of your spine, into the mat beneath you, rising up through your spine, through your chest, through the crown of your head. This gives us an opportunity to arrive in this space, in your space, and focus on our breath. So turning our attention inward. Take full inhalation, full exhalation. And keeping your attention on your breath. This is also a good opportunity to scan your body, check in with yourself, see how you're feeling today. And just make a note of that and set it aside. A few more deep breaths in and out of the nose, filling all the space in your lungs. And you can leave your palms where they are or bring your palms together at heart center. Anjali Mudra, gently rest your thumbs into your sternum and lift the brightness of your heart gently into your thumbs. So I start class with one Om. Feel free to join in by listening or along. Take a full breath in and exhale out. And inhale once again. Bring your chin to your chest. Release your palms down to your legs. And take a moment. Bring your chin out of your chest and then let your eyes slowly open. And we'll start our asana. Let's create some heat. Okay, so child's pose. Child's pose. Your knees are outer hip width apart. Your sit bones back and down on your heels, and your big toes come to touch behind you. So keeping the connection there between your sit bones and your heels as best you can. Oh, option to put a block here. So for practice today, I am going to use 2 blocks and a strap. If you don't have any of those, that's perfectly fine. You can grab books, or you can have a chair, or you don't need anything. And then playlist, I use Spotify playlist. My name, so Cadre, CY, and today I chose the CY spirals, if you want to play some music. Okay, so child's pose, Shavasana. You can place a block between your heels, so just under your bum, and that raises you up a little bit. Either way, your hips down and back, reach forward and out with your palms, with your arms, and then take a full inhalation. And as you exhale, bring your forehead and tip of nose down to your mat, chest towards your mat. Keep reaching forward with your hands and down and back with your hips. Crawling your fingertips towards the front of your mat, lifting your armpits up and then wrapping your outer shoulder in towards the center, and then softening in your skin. Keep crawling each finger towards the front of your mat, creating a long stretch in your side body. Full deep inhalation and exhale out. And then lift your torso, walk your hands back about a handprint, and then walk your hands over to the right for a side stretch. So keep the length, creating maximum distance between your palms and your heels and hips, and keep your hands shoulder width apart or slightly wider. Spread your fingers evenly and grip down into the floor with your finger pads. Full inhale and exhale, sinking your chest closer to your mat. So forehead, tip of nose to your mat. Maybe crawling your left hand slightly more forward. So long length in the left side body. And then lift your torso, come back through center and walk your hands over to the right side. Full inhale and exhale, bringing your forehead and the tip of your nose, chest down towards your mat. Keep crawling your fingers away from you and sitting your hips down and back. Lifting your right armpit up away from the mat, really stretching the right side of your body. And then coming back through center. And come on to hands and knees. So keeping your knees wide, you're gonna place your top of your feet on the floor and tuck them behind your knees. So we're gonna go into down dog, so wide leg. So curl your toes under, lift your hips up, and bring your hips up towards the ceiling. So keep your knees bent. Feet are about outer width hip apart or as wide as your sticky mat. Fingers are spread evenly. Index fingers pointed straight ahead. And make sure that you're pressing down through all your finger pads, especially your pointer finger pad. So pressing, gripping in to your mat with all 10 fingers. Keeping your knees bent, lifting your hips up and back, inner thighs back behind you. An option to stay with your knees bent or straighten one leg at a time, working your heels down towards the mat. And keep your breath going all through class. I won't always tell you to breathe, but I am assuming you will be breathing. It's quite important. And wrapping your outer shoulders in towards your ears, so your eye of your elbows are pointing more towards each other. Press your hands down and forward, hips up and back, inner thighs back behind you. Relax your head and neck. And take a full inhalation, bend your knees, walk your knees towards the center of your mat, hands towards your toes, and then turn and face the long edge of your mat. If you have your blocks handy, or if you have them, place them just in front of your mat. All right, so step wide. So wide leg, forward fold. Make sure that your heel is the widest part of each foot. So you don't want your toes turned out, you want them turned in. And blocks just in front of you. Sit bones back behind you, inner thighs back behind you. Lift and lengthen, gaze slightly forward. Pressing your feet down and apart, so get the stability first, and then feet down and towards each other. So you're engaging the inner aspect of your legs. If you don't have blocks, you can touch the floor. Cupping your hands raises the floor just slightly. So straight arms, hands under shoulders. And full inhalation. And then exhale out. Keep your blocks in your hands, or you're going to pivot on your right heel. So dig your right heel in and turn your toes open. As you turn your toes open, you're going to shift your body forward. Back heel is going to come vertical and come into a lunge position. Of course, if you don't have blocks, palms down to your mat. And again, you can cup your fingers, pressing your fingers into your mat. So back leg straight and strong, back heel vertical, chest forward. Relax your head and neck. Engage all the muscles across your abdomen. And squeeze your glutes in towards the center. And then you're going to shift back. So pivoting your back heel down, dig your right heel in, shift forward into your wide leg forward fold. Maybe adjust, make sure your feet, the heel's the widest part of your foot, or the pinky toe edge of your feet are lined up with the short edge of your mat. Lift and lengthen. And then shift to your left, digging your left heel in, pointing your left toes towards the short edge of your mat, and come into a lunge position. Make sure your shin is straight up and down, knee not beyond ankle. Press into your floor or your blocks, lift your chest, gaze forward, engage all the muscles in your belly. Squeeze your glutes in, left glute, right inner thigh towards each other. Always option in any lunge poses to lower your back knee down. Full breath in and exhale out. Dig your left heel in. We're going to come back through center. So back to our wide leg forward fold. Lift and lengthen. Option to stay here or walk your hands back in between your feet. Make sure you're not rounding too much in your back. You want to think chest down towards the mat. Pressing your feet down and apart and then towards each other again. Option to bend your elbows, bringing your forehead down to your mat. And since you're at home, you can always flip up into a handstand if you choose to, or headstand. Keep breathing, hands down and forward, feet down and back. And then inhale, rise up and lengthen. And then press into the floor or your blocks with your hands. Bend your knees slightly and step your feet together. Bend your knees, place your hands on your hips, and come on up to Tadasana. All right. So in Tadasana, your feet can either be hip width or slightly wider. Root down through your legs, through your feet, creating equal weight on all four corners of your feet. Engage your thigh muscles, belly button towards your spine. So engage all the muscles across your belly. Lift your chest, keep your chin out of your chest. Then raise your arms overhead, point your palms in. Grab your right wrist with your left hand, reach up. So go for the length here, maximum distance between your left foot, right foot, and right hand. And then bend your torso to the left, hips to the right. I think I'm mirroring you guys backwards. We're not. Bring your right shoulder back slightly. Lift your chest. Maybe sink a little bit more to your left. Keep rooting down through your feet. Keep breathing. Then come back through center and switch. So grabbing your left wrist with your right hand. Reach up, so length first, create space first, and then bring your torso to the right, hips to the left. And open maybe slightly, bringing your left shoulder back behind you. Keep rooting down, rising up, and stretching through your side body. Come back through center and palms together at heart center, and then Tadasana. And come to the front of your mat. And feet about hip width apart or together. I like to work with hips slightly hip distance or wider, creates a little bit more access or space in the lower back. So inhale, reach up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, forward fold, all 10 fingers down by your toes. Bend your knees if need be. And then lift and lengthen. Ardha Uttanasana, hands to your shins. Flat back, gaze forward. And then forward fold. Step your left leg back into a lunge position. Back heel vertical, back leg straight and strong. Again, always option to lower your left knee down to your mat. If you have a block, you can grab that, place it on the floor under your left hand, or you can always cup your left hand. Lift and lengthen your chest, gaze forward, and then squeezing your right glute and left inner thigh towards each other. Squeeze into the center, and place your right hand just above your right thigh. So press in, twisting across your belly first, and then your chest. Don't let your right hip rise up. Keep it more in level with your left. Twist a little more, maybe gaze up, Maybe bring your right hand up towards the ceiling. Keep breathing. Again, check to make sure your front shin is straight up and down. Your knee is not beyond your ankle. And keep reaching across your chest, originating the twist from your belly and then in your chest and up. And then bring both hands back down, surrounding your front foot. Step forward with your left, step back with your right. Move your back foot further back, so back leg straight and strong, back heel vertical. Option to lower that knee down. Make sure your left knee is in line with your ankle, not beyond. Lock can be placed under your right hand. And then lift your chest, gaze forward, squeezing your left glute and right inner thigh towards each other. Lift your torso, left hand just above left thigh. Press in with your right hand, twist, open to your left. So abdomen, chest, and then head last. Maybe bring your left arm up towards the ceiling. Keep squeezing your feet towards each other. Engage your belly muscles and keep breathing. And lower that left hand down and plant your hands surrounding your front foot. Step back into downward facing dog, or Adho Mukha Svanasana. So spread your fingers evenly, index fingers pointed straight ahead. Really grip into the mat with all 10 fingers and under your finger pads. Then shorten your down dog just a bit. Always the option to come more into this position, so like a forward fold. And you'll know when we get there, right? So we're going to go into twisted down dog. So press your hands down and forward, bend your knees a lot, and then place some weight on your right hand and lift your left hand up, grabbing the outside of your right ankle. So you can stay here or pulling with your hand, keeping your hips level. You can always work straightening your legs. You're going to bring your chest and head under your right arm. This is a lot. So take your time. You can work with your bent knees. You can work closer together. You can even work standing up. And breathe. And then come back to your short down dog. Place some weight in your left palm, left hand. Bend your knees, right hand to the outside of your left ankle. Pull yourself through. Maybe keep your knees bent and maybe work your legs towards straight. Trying to keep your feet in line with each other. And hips more in one line. This is a big stretch to the back side of your right side. And then come back to your down dog. Extend your down dog long. Shift forward into plank pose, top of a push-up. And then option to go into chaturanga and then lower all the way down. If you go into chaturanga, you're going to shift to your tippy toes. Keep your elbows in towards your torso. Bend and slowly lower down. Okay, arms alongside your torso, palms facing up. One at a time, lift and lengthen your legs back about hip width apart, tops of feet on the floor. Your chin to your mat temporarily. And then lift your chin, lift your chest. You're going to lift your shoulders up towards your ears and then squeeze them together towards your spine on your back. And then down towards your hips. Then full breath in. And exhale, and then inhale and lift up. Everything off the mat, except for your hips. Squeeze your feet towards each other, arms towards each other. You're in locust pose. Chest forward, relax your head and neck. Don't overexert your neck back. Reach back with your feet, back with your hands. And then lower down and rest the left side of your face to your mat. Take a full breath in and out. And then bring your chin to your mat. An option to repeat locust or interlace your hands behind your back, keeping your elbows bent. Squeeze your elbows towards each other, so pointed up towards the ceiling. Lift your chest, and then stay here or work your arms towards straight, reaching your chest forward and arms back towards your heels. So this is a big opening in your shoulder and in your chest. An option, stay here or lift your legs up into locust, hands bound. Lifting from your inner thighs up towards the ceiling, kneecaps pointed down, reach back, and then lower down and rest the right side of your face to your mat. You're doing great. Even though I can't see you. And then bring your forehead towards your mat. Plant your palms just outside your lungs. Keep your elbows tucked in to your side. Curl your toes under, either with your knees on or off the mat. Press up into plank pose. And then shoot your hips up and back to downward facing dog. Full breath in. Exhale out. Then bend your knees and walk low top to the front of your mat with your knees bent. Hands just outside your toes. And then sit back and down so your thighs are towards parallel. So you're sitting back into a power pose position. Lift your torso upright, arms come up, palms facing in, reach up, sitting low. Tuck your tailbone under, squeeze your thighs towards each other. Navel to your spine. Almost there, and then stand up into Tadasana. Okay. Definitely creating heat this morning. If you have a strap, you can grab a strap. Definitely not necessary. So from here, come into Tadasana. Root down through your right leg. Lift your left knee up. Flex that foot. So left thigh parallel to the floor. Interlace your hands behind your left thigh. Lift your chest. You can stay working right here. Or release your hands to your side. Engage your belly muscles. So a lot of this work, keeping this leg up, is right here. Place your right hand on the outside of your left knee. And don't let your knee come in towards the center. You want to keep your thigh, your hip bone in line with your knee, in line with your ankle. So bringing your hand just to the outside of your right knee, or left knee, sorry. Lift your chest. So root down through your standing leg, lift your chest, and then twist to your left. So belly first, chest last. Maybe reach your arm back behind you, maybe gaze back behind you. And breathe. Come back through center, lower the left leg down. And take a breath. And then left leg down, so rooting down, engage the left thigh muscle, lift your right leg up, flex that foot, so right thigh parallel to the floor, interlace your hands under the right thigh, lift your chest. You can stay working right here, or release that leg, and bring the left hand to the outside of that right knee, right hand just to your hip, and then twist to the right. So belly first, then chest, then maybe your arm, and maybe gaze back behind you. So allowing this leg to stay where it is and not going across. Showing you from this angle. And then come on back to center and come into Tadasana. Okay. So if you have a strap, if you have a little loop in that, you can keep that handy. So balancing on your right leg, you're going to do very similar. You have your strap, hold on to it. Lift your left leg up, same. So left thigh parallel to the floor, flex your left foot. You can always stay working here. Or if you want to use a strap, place the ball mound of your foot into that strap and grab a hold with your right hand. Place your left hand to your hip, root down through your standing leg, lift your chest, stretch your spine, keep your belly muscles engaged, and then option to straighten that leg. Twist open to the left again. So originating the twist from your belly to your chest, and then maybe bringing your left hand back behind you. So if you don't have a strap, you grab the pinky toe edge of your foot. You can always work with knee bent and just extend out. Come on out. Take a recovery breath. And then root down through your left leg. So tone that thigh, tighten the kneecap, lift your chest, and then lift your right leg to parallel. So right thigh parallel, flex the foot. Option to stay with your hands under your right thigh. Or if you want to go for the twist and the extension, you bring your torso towards your thigh, grabbing the pinky toe edge of your foot, also using your strap is good. And then extend the legs straight, lifting your chest, twisting to the right, maybe bringing your right arm back behind you, gaze over your right fingertips. Come back through center, lower your right leg down. Very good. Come to the front of your mat. In Tadasana. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees to get all 10 fingers down to your mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen. So hands to your shins, flat back. And then you're going to bend your knees, bringing your thighs towards parallel, bringing your arms out in front for a power pose. So palms facing in, close your fingers, reach forward, chest up, squeeze your thighs in towards each other, belly button towards your spine. From here, sit down and back, and lie down on your back. It's not resting time, but so bend your knees. We're going to do some leg lifts. You can always stay right here. Good place to stay. Or two options with your hands. You can grab the outer edge of your mat, pulling your mat apart, or place your hands palms face down under your hips, so wedging your hands under. Other option, interlace your hands behind your head, not your neck. Keep your gaze up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your face with your forearms. Lift your knees, straighten your legs, point your toes up. Lift your head, lift your chest, or not. And then one at a time, lowering your right leg to a hover first. Keep gaze up towards your toes. Lift your right leg up. Lower your left leg down to a hover. And then keep going with your breath. The slower you go, the little more difficult it is.
I think that you use your judgment. You can also work with bent knees, do toe tapping, or you can also do both legs as well. Keep your chest lifted. Keep your gaze towards your toes, squeezing your face with your forearms, pulling your mat apart, or wedging your hands under your hips. All good options. And when you're done, as long as you've balanced out your left and your right, bend your knees and take a little rest. And then lift your torso up, place your hands just under your thighs, maybe do a little rocking and come up to a seated pose. So knees bent. Straighten your left leg along your mat. And right knee bent, and drop your right knee out to the side. Bring your right heel towards the inner edge of your left thigh. So you're like in a 90-degree angle, or you can also go wider with this right knee. Lift your torso up, so hands on either side of the left leg. Left kneecap pointed straight up, and your left foot is flexed. Lift your chest. Twist slightly to the left, so your torso comes more over top of your left leg. Option to bend that leg. You can also use a strap here to grab your foot. Walk your hands towards your left foot. Maybe grab your left foot and don't crank back on your left foot. Push into your hands, either working with knee bent or straight leg. And then think chest towards your toes. Maybe bringing your chest down towards that left leg. And then once you're at your capacity, you can round your back evenly, bringing your forehead towards your shin. Full inhalation and exhale out. Release your hands, walk back, lifting your torso upright. Bend the left leg. Then you're going to shift your right leg out more and your right foot forward. So you're coming into bound angle. So your feet are together, knees out towards the side, and work your feet the distance either away from you or closer to you, depending on your openness in your hips. Lift your chest, grab a hold of your ankles, but don't force them towards you. And think extending out through your knees versus down, think out. An option to stay here or round forward, as long as you keep your sit bones to your mat. You can round forward. Think chest beyond your toes. And lift your torso upright. Extend your right leg long, kneecap pointed up. Your left heel, bring that more to the root of your inner thigh. So you're at a 90-degree angle. Flex your right foot. Lift your chest and then angle your torso more over your right leg. And then walk your hands towards your foot. Bend that right knee. I'll show you with the strap. You can pull it this way. Just make sure that you're minding your hamstrings, because pulling on your strap a lot can tax your hamstrings. So option I always use is just bend knee. And then press your foot into your hands and think chest towards your toes first. And then once you're at your capacity, you can round your back evenly, bringing your forehead towards your shin. Keep your belly engaged. Full inhalation and then exhale out. And then inhale, release your hands, come back through center, and bring your left knee up towards the ceiling and bend your knees. From here, you're gonna stand up into Tadasana. And I'll show you from this side. So we're going to come into tree pose. So balancing on your right foot. Lift your left thigh up, left knee out to the side, and then you can assist, grabbing your ankle from the inner edge of your left foot, leg, and place that heel at the root of your inner thigh. So very similar to what we just did, lying down actually, or sitting down. Try to get your hips so they're in level, that's interesting, level, and don't let your left hip rise up or your right hip shoot out to the side. So press your foot and your thigh together, always option to work down here with your toe to the ground. Place your hands together at heart center, lift your chest, belly button towards your spine, chin out of your chest, lift your arms overhead, gaze up between where the ceiling and the wall meet, and breathe. Bring your palms back down to heart center. From here, you're going to shoot your left knee forward, turn to the side. And as you kick back, so kicking back through your heel, you're going to bring your torso towards parallel and back leg towards parallel. So warrior 3 variation. If you wobble out, come right back in. Chest forward, leg back, keeping your hips level. And then come on back to Tadasana. All right. So rooting down through your left leg, lift your right knee up, right knee out to the side, and then you can assist, grabbing your ankle, placing your right heel at the root of your left inner thigh. Again, chest forward, hips in line with one another, palms together, heart center. Lift your chest and lift your chin out of your chest. So pressing your foot and your thigh together, always avoid your knee joint. Maybe lift your hands overhead, so arms up towards the ceiling. Point your palms in, gaze where the wall and the ceiling meet. Palms back down to heart center. Shoot your right knee forward. And then kick back, thinking from your heel. So kicking back through your heel, bringing your torso and your back leg towards parallel. Keeping your left foot pointed towards the front of your mat. Keep extending through your chest and back through your leg. And then come on out. All right. Come to hands and knees. So hands and knees, make sure your hands are about shoulder width apart or slightly wider. Fingers are spread evenly, index fingers pointed straight ahead. So really grip down through all the finger pads, especially your pointer finger knuckle, gripping in. Trying to take some weight off of your wrists. So we have, I'll say me, I had a lot of wrist issues when I first started doing yoga because I was just dumping the weight into this area. This area is pretty meaty and it's also pretty easy to dump weight into it. So I've gotten really comfortable pressing down, putting more weight into all my fingers, especially right here. You can also squeeze your ring finger and your thumb towards each other. Okay, hands and knees. Made enough commentary. Okay, so from here, you're going to bring your right leg back behind you. Walk your left hand about a handprint towards the left corner of your mat. And then you're going to rotate. So your front of your shoulder towards the back of your shoulder. Your back heel is going to come down to your mat. So we're going to go into a V-stage variation. Open across your chest, so twisting to your right hand to your hip. So your back foot is angled in very slightly, so your heel is the widest part of your back foot. Press in to your mat with your left hand, and don't dump weight into your shoulder. Lift and lengthen across your chest, maybe gazing slightly up. Engage your back leg. So back glute strong, back thigh strong. From here, option to stay here or lift your left leg or float your left leg up parallel to the floor. Keep lifting across your chest and then lower down, back to hands and knees. Right hand forward and out towards the corner of your mat. So just about a handprint. Really grip the mat with your hand. Front of your shoulder towards the back of your shoulder, left leg back behind you, and then left heel down to your mat. I'll show you this way. Left hand to your left hip. Open across your chest, and then press in with your foot. So engage the glute, engage the left thigh, and press into the mat with your left foot and right hand. Open across your chest. Option stay here, or you can always lift your hips up slightly too to get that right leg up. So float that right leg up, parallel to the floor. Keep breathing. And then lower down. Have a seat. And bring your legs out in front of you. Come towards the front of your mat. I'm going to do a quick pigeon. So bend your knees, lift your right hand up, and under your right knee, you're going to grab your left ankle. Pull your left ankle through, bringing the heel towards your right glute. So your left knee is outer hip width. Lean onto your left hip and then bring your right leg back behind you. You can work here or straightening your right leg back behind you. Lift your hips up and then square them towards the front of your mat. And then lower your hips down. So your back leg is lined up with the long edge of your mat, chest forward. Your left knee joint is more closed, and you're pressing into the mat with your left pinky toe. You can stay here or dragging your hands back towards your back foot. So lengthening through your spine first, then you can lower down to your forearms, to your chest, or head down towards your mat. A lot of the times pigeon is done with your left shin lined up with the left short edge of your mat, so more parallel to the front edge of your mat. That's a lot on your knee joint, so just be careful when you open this joint more. I always work with it more closed. Protect your knees. Lift your chest and then place some weight on your left hip, bend your right knee, and bring your back to your bent knees. Lift your left arm up under your left knee, grab your right ankle, pull it through so your left or right heel is towards your left glute. Your right knee is outer hip width apart. Lean onto your right hip. Maybe bring your left leg back behind you. If you're going for straight leg, lift your hips up, straighten that back leg, and then hips up and squared towards the front of your mat, and then you can bring your hips down. Your pinky toe edge of your right foot, pressing it down into your mat, and then drag your hands back towards your hips. So chest forward, and then you can lower down onto your forearms, or chest, or forehead down towards your mat. Full breath in, and exhale out. And inhale once again, lift your torso, lean some weight onto your right hip, and bring that left leg back into your seated position. Okay, so back onto hands and knees. We're going to do another variation of E-Sage, so option to do what we just did, or left hand forward and out. Right leg back behind you. You're going to pivot your back heel down to the mat. So front of your left shoulder towards the back of your left shoulder, open across your chest, right hand to your right hip. So option to stay here or press in to your right. So from your glute, press down into your right leg, into your foot, and left hand, open across your chest, float the left leg up. Stay here or reach down, grabbing the pinky toe edge of that foot and kicking that foot out towards parallel. That's a lot. You can also stay here or work that foot up towards the left corner of your mat. Back to parallel, and then come on down to hands and knees. Okay. Right hand forward and out. Left leg back behind you. Heel down. Lift your left hand up to your left hip. And again, front of your right shoulder towards the back of your right shoulder. Press down from your glute, down into your left foot. An option to stay working here. You can also work with legs stacked, do this variation. I'll walk you through floating your right leg up, opening across your chest. Maybe reach down, grab the pinky toe edge of that foot. Maybe extending through your heel out in front. Keep breathing, keep pressing that foot away, maybe angling it up towards the front of your mat, and back to bent, and come on down and lie down on your back. Did very well. Any of those steps or none of them is fine. Okay, on your back, bend your knees. And place your hands just above your thighs. Press your legs away from you. And then bring your right knee in towards your chest. Interlace your hands behind your right thigh. Extend that leg to straight. Straighten your arms. So you're pressing your leg away from you with straight arms. Maybe twist that ankle, making little circles. Maybe point, flex. Full deep breaths. And bend that right knee. Release your hands, right foot to floor. Left knee in towards your chest. Interlace your hands behind the left leg. And then straighten that left leg up. So again, press the thigh away from you. Arms come to straight. Starting to slow down our breath. Maybe making small circles with the foot, pointing, flexing, plantar flex, dorsal flex. And then we bend the left knee, release your hands. Again, place your hands on your thighs. Press your thighs away from you. And then bring both knees in towards your chest for reclined child's pose. Maybe wrap your arms around your knees, clasping your hands. Maybe rocking side to side. And then release your feet back down to your mat. Lift your hips up and guide them over to the right side of your mat. Bring your arms overhead and drop your knees over to the left, gazing over to the right. So option to clasp your hands. You can also bring your arms out to the side or just lie them above your head. And then bring your knees back towards the ceiling, hips, knees back to center, hips up and over to the left, and then drop your knees over to the right. If you clasp your hands, switch the clasp and gaze over to the left. Deep inhalation and exhalation. Slowing down all the movement, setting up for stillness. And come back through center one last time, knees in towards chest for reclined child's pose. And then come into Shavasana, our final pose. The legs long on your mat, arms alongside your torso, palms facing up. Let your ankles drop out to the sides. And then softly close your eyes down, relaxing all the muscles in your face, the muscles, the space between your eyebrows, your jaw, your chest and arms, surrendering all the weight of your body into the mat beneath you, resting your hips down, your legs, and taking this time for yourself to restore and receive all the benefits of your practice today. Shavasana. Starting to deepen your breath. Bring some awareness and some movement back to your body. Wiggling your toes, your fingers, and then bending one knee at a time, and slowly roll to your right. You pause there. When you're ready, using the strength of your arms, return to the seated position. Keeping your eyes closed or a soft gaze at the floor in front of you. And choose to place your palms together, heart center. Gently rest your thumbs to your chest and lift the brightness of your heart into your thumbs. So we'll still class with one arm. Again, feel free to join in or listen. Take a full breath in. Exhale out.
And inhale once again. Bring your chin to your chest. Acknowledge yourself for showing up, for creating space and time for yourself. And in respect to this practice, to each one of you, namaste. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for practicing. I'll stick around for some questions or comments or anything, or to see your beautiful faces. Have a great day. Thanks for practicing.